Here are my favorite jump spots and lines of sight on all the ranked play maps. Now this is an update to last week's map series with a mix of new spots that some of you guys suggested and ones that I found recently. You know what to do, so let's hop right in. We're gonna start over here on Berlin, where I have a few new spots for you. The first of which is over here on the double steps, where we covered this jump into the window. However, if you turn your sights to the other side, to this ledge over here, you can use the same method to jump onto this invisible ledge. From here, you have a clear view of mid-map, back warehouse, top broken, and even into P1 office window. And although you are fairly exposed, most people aren't really looking up here, especially if they're coming in from fire. The way you're gonna make the jump is the same way you'd make the jump into the window. You're gonna hop onto the railing, and then use the planter as a ramp and jump right at the last moment, and you should be able to stick it. Moving on to P1, if you come to this middle desk, there's an invisible ledge on this wall over here behind the lamp. If you hop onto it, you have a great view on anyone approaching from the platform and trying to jump in through this window. Given the off angle, you can pick them off fairly easily without being seen. Now you can be easily wallbanged through this wall, however that's only if they see you, and they likely won't. Next up, we're gonna head over to P2, where you can actually jump onto these sandbags over here. You want to get a good sprint in and then strafe jump onto it. Now it can be a bit tricky to get onto, but once you're on it, you're going to need to crouch down, at which point you should be able to stay on without falling off. You can then strafe along most of the edge, and you get a great view on the docks, the B-bomb site, and anyone trying to enter through this door here. It's great for all three game modes because this room is of course P2, the B site in control, and in S&D you have a great view on anyone trying to get to the B-bomb site from the docks. Furthermore, you'll also be able to see anyone trying to approach from the top side a lot sooner than they expect to be seen when they're trying to clear this room. Now heading back to the P3 spawn side, there's a little known line of sight that I would say is likely only good for information on S&D, but essentially you're going to jump on this barrier back here and you can see right into outer steps. Now it might seem obvious, but I don't think people really realize it, is that you can actually throw nades from here into the platform side and even into the building if you line it up just right. If you're on defense and control and your entire squad gets wiped, you know how difficult it is to break this point if they've stacked it. So if you perfect this nade, you might be able to at least get the player who likes to play the window over here, who might be preventing your team from breaking out of their spawn to contest the point. Now of course you can nade over from the platform side into the spawn, which is great for P3 on hardpoint if you're spawning on outer steps and you want to slow down anyone hitting from the dock spawn. Speaking of P3, there's actually a great wallbang spot for anyone who likes to sit on this fire couch. If you're coming from the dock side and aim under the right side of this window, you can wallbang straight through. You're going to need an AR as it doesn't work with an SMG unless of course you're running FMJ on it. Now another wallbang spot is on P2 for anyone sitting in this corner. Again, you're going to need FMJ, but you can wallbang right onto anyone on the other side of this wall. You can also do it on the other side. And believe it or not, you can actually do it from the top if you're right on the border of the 5th and 6th tile from where the rug starts. Moving on to Bocage, on the street side, you can actually hop onto an invisible ledge right over the tunnel entrance. It's great to pick off anyone coming from the tunnel, and from here you can actually see the back of the spawn and street. If you duck down, they'll likely not see you if they're coming from the street. Next, we're going to head over to Top Grandma's, where you can actually hop onto the water wheel. Keep in mind that you aren't technically hopping on the water wheel itself, rather an invisible ledge on the wall. So when you make the jump, you're going to be aiming for the wall, not the wheel. You're going to back up a bit to get a good sprint in, then you're going to strafe jump as late as possible onto this ledge. Now although you can't see over into the tank field from here, you can see into the back spawn, anyone coming from bottom or top grandma's, as well as the tunnel below. That being said, you can land a little bit higher on the wheel to be able to see over the entrance from tank field. However, I always find that you end up slipping down and off of it, so I don't really bother with that one. It's highly situational, but it's good to know that you can do it. Now heading up to top grandma's, if you get rid of this mannequin over here, you can actually hop onto this ledge against the wall. From here you can see anyone coming up the stairs or through the top window. It's a great heady that can help you get the jump on any opponent trying to get up here. Moving on to top tower, from the top platform, if you aim to hop onto this hook, you're going to land on an invisible ledge just before it, which offers an off angle on anyone trying to enter the tower. Just keep in mind that you must keep your left stick pressed forward or you're just going to slip off of it. Also, if you don't land the right way when you shoot, you could end up dropping a little bit lower or completely off of it. Finally, we have river, where if you come up to this hop up, you can actually mantle this piece of wood over here. From here you can see into the L, past the tower into the spawn over there, and even into tower itself. Furthermore, you can see into the street and even top barn. Highly situational, but it's good to know. Moving on to Tuscan, if you watch the CDL, you may have seen Celium on Atlanta FaZe use this spot, and it has to do with the nook on P5, where a lot of people sit here to either capture it or contest. But there is a way to wallbang it from middle map. Now Celium had done it from the well side, but that was patched. However, if you come back here to mid map, you can actually wallbang right onto that area and use this vantage point to watch for anyone trying to hit through the well. Now moving on to a little spot that I think Team Summertime had discovered, and this is primarily for situations where you've planted the bomb on A and S&D. Head to top radio, and if you aim toward the leg of this bunk bed over here, you can actually wallbang right onto anyone defusing the bomb. Highly situational, but great for instances where you're left alone in S&D and you need to get someone off of your bomb. Now heading over into mid map, it's kind of an obvious spot that I don't see many people use, including myself, but you can actually look through the truck over here into bottom church. You're obviously exposed to top broken and well, but it's great for P1 and hardpoint where most people are trying to hit through top and bottom church. You can also see through to the A-bomb site from here if these boxes are destroyed. Just keep in mind, if too many of your bullets hit the truck, it will explode and kill you. Next up, I'm going to show you a couple nade spots. The first of which I actually completely forgot to include in the original Tuscan video, but you can actually throw a nade through this hole in the top of the church on anyone trying to guard P4. If you toss a nade on this side of the stone wall, you'll take out anyone next to the field door. And then if you toss a nade from the other side of the wall, it will land on anyone standing on the candles. You see RCDs on FaZe use this spot fairly frequently. Now next is if you're coming from the church side and want to take out people sitting on the wolf statue. Now you're going to come to the church field door where you're going to aim between the branches of these two trees. Cook it for a beat or two and then let it fly. And there you are. Now there are many more nade spots of course, and I know a lot of you guys had asked for some nade spot videos, and if I end up making those videos I'll probably want to do a little bit more research. So until then I'll give you one more to hold you over. If you're coming from the offensive side in search and you want to take out anyone top broken, you can come up to the fire steps, aim for the middle of the edge of the smoke cloud, cook it for one beat, and then it should land right on top broken. Now heading over into Desert Siege, I only have one new spot on this map, and it's from the offensive side, where if you go into this train car here, you can actually see through this crack onto anyone top tower. It's best of course if you have a sniper, but you can utilize it with an AR as well. Finally, heading over to Gavutu, I have two new spots for you here. The first is if you head over to the P3 mid cut. You're gonna hop onto this rock and then straight to the left, and then you can easily hop onto this other rock over here. From here, you can see right into their spawn, top green, and anyone jumping down from radio. You also have a clear view on anyone trying to break P3 from their spawn side, and that's because you can see right over the fences fairly easily than if you're just standing on the ground. Now the second spot is in the same area where you can hop onto this rock over here and then use it as a great heady to look over mid cut. But that's it for today's video. I'm actually going to be on my way to Call of Duty Champs when this video gets uploaded. I was honestly not sure if I was going to be able to get a video out this week because of Champs, but after the insane support on last week's videos and last month as a whole, I wanted to make sure I got something out to you guys this week. Now next week I'll either be going over my essential visual settings or my choice of controller. Let me know in the comments which would be more interesting to you, and I'll decide based on that. Also let me know in the comments if you're going to COD Champs or if you're watching from home and who you're rooting for. But as always, you know what to do. My name is Drew, this was Sabahound, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, I want to be famous.